Hey Star Wars fans, my name is Prince and I am an urban acolyte, and in this video I'm going to give my thoughts on this fan speculation that was posted on Reddit that claims that Boba Fett is actually Supreme Leader Snoke. So the YouTube channel Star Wars Theories covered this in depth. He read the whole thing and continued to speculate on it. So if you want the full theory, you should check out his video on it. I'm just going to run through some of the points that I want to address, and then I'm going to give you my reasons why I don't think this is plausible at all. So Boba Reddit starts this out with a comparison of Rey to I guess Anastasia. There's some animated movie called Anastasia that I've never seen before. So I'm going to read that part because I don't think Star Wars Theories covered that at all. Okay, so he starts out with: a child helplessly watches as a means of transportation carries away the only family she has left. Years later, on the verge of adulthood, the child has been under the care of an abusive authority figure. The girl longs to leave the place, but due to circumstance cannot. The girl longingly watches a ship depart the place. She is stuck. The girl rescues a helpless character and reluctantly allows it to follow her. This leads to the girl meeting a young man desperate to escape his past. The girl finally leaves the place she's been stuck for so long. The girl is abducted by the villain. The young man pursues and fights for her freedom, ending in him unconscious and the girl fearing for his life. The girl summons a power within her she didn't know she had and retrieves the villain's weapon before he does, much to the surprise of the villain. The girl is reunited with her family, but leaves again to embrace her destiny. So Boba Reddit says that's the plot to Anastasia, and it sounds eerily familiar to The Force Awakens. And I want to highlight that he says the girl is reunited with her family because the central premise to his theory is that Rey is the long-lost daughter of Han Solo and Princess Leia. And that's going to be the first place that I attack this theory and basically show why it's not plausible, because that's simply not the case. But I'll digress and get to that in a moment. So his theory is basically that Boba Fett is actually Supreme Leader Snoke, and Boba has a strong hate or dislike for Han Solo because of their past history. We don't know how far back that goes. Maybe the Han Solo spin-off film will touch on what the beef is between Boba and Han Solo. According to Boba Reddit, Supreme Leader Snoke, who is old crispy fried Boba Fett, orchestrates the kidnapping of Rey. He has Captain Phasma do it, and Phasma leaves Rey on Jakku. And the whole reason Kylo Ren turns to the dark side and becomes Snoke's apprentice is because Snoke has convinced Ben Solo that it is his fault that his little sister was abducted and is missing. He convinces him that Han Solo is so weak that he could not protect his sister, and I'm guessing the only way that Ben can ever have any hope of ever seeing his sister again is to become stronger than the weak man that his father is. So as far as Snoke's appearance, he says that is because Boba Fett fell into the Sarlacc pit, and the crazy emaciated, scarred appearance of Snoke is a result of the acid eating away at Boba Fett when he attempted to get out of the Sarlacc pit. And he cites Aftermath as his source for that, because Aftermath does sort of indicate that Boba Fett possibly survived. Now, that's another point of contention because we have no proof or evidence that Boba Fett survived. What we know is that someone scavenged his armor out of the Sarlacc pit after the Sarlacc monster, the sandworm, whatever that thing is, after it died due to the pollution from Jabba the Hutt's pleasure barge when it basically exploded in Return of the Jedi. All right, he also goes on to cite that Boba Fett had some kind of knowledge of Darth Vader because Boba Fett is the one who told Vader that Luke Skywalker was his son. He also cites the appearance of the Knights of Ren as proof that they have ties to to Mandalore. According to Boba Reddit, Mandalorian, that term is not canon. The new term is Mandalorian, and that's why they're called the Knights of Ren. This just gets more creative and more creative, and I don't want to say anything bad, but this is... yeah. So anyway, I'm just going to get to my points on why this isn't plausible, and I'm going to basically debunk this. Okay, so he says Rey is Han Solo and Leia's long-lost daughter. No, that's not the case. I don't think Han Solo and Leia had any other children besides Ben. I think that Leia would have mentioned that in Bloodline, since we're getting a chance to see her inner thoughts, and the entire novel is focused around her. The reason that Han Solo seems to be so close to Rey, I've said this in other videos, is because Rey reminds Han Solo of Greer Sano, who was one of his pilots, one of the racers. He was, doing his racing thing. She was one of his star pupil, so to say, and she had to stop because she contracted blood burn from traveling in space when she was too young to really do that. And so here this girl is, she's good with the Falcon, she knows her stuff, she can fly, and Han Solo kind of sees this as, oh, I can take her under my wing the same way I did with Greer. I'm guessing Greer died at some point between Bloodline and The Force Awakens, or we just haven't seen her yet. Alright, so the Knights of Ren based on Mandalore, because the word Mandalorian is not canon. Well, apparently, Boba Reddit, you haven't watched the Clone Wars or Star Wars Rebels, because we have a Mandalorian named Sabine Wren. She had what some people call a filler episode, where it dealt with Mandalorians, a group of Mandalorians, one of them who actually saved Kanan and his master from being killed by General Grievous. That's kind of an Easter egg if you guys didn't know that. We learned that Sabine's mother was a member of Death Watch, and that Clan Wren falls under House Vizsla. In season 3, we're going to deal even more with that Mandalorian arc, and we've seen the previews, or we saw in the trailer that Sabine is going to end up with the Darksaber, which I guess is kind of the weapon of Mandalore, or at least the leader of Death Watch. As far as the appearance of the Knights of Ren, we don't actually know that they look like Mandalorians. You don't know if that's actually a Mandalorian helmet. There's a possibility that they could be based on the Sith, right? Those could be Sith helmets. And the reason I say that is because we've actually seen a Sith helmet or Sith mask that was possessing people. And it's in the Lando Calrissian 5-book comic book series, right? Look at that mask. If you didn't know without me telling you that that's a Sith mask, would you think that that might be something that a Mandalorian would wear? So maybe the Mandalorians based their masks, their helmets, on something from ancient Sith culture. We don't know that right now, right? And we've got these acolytes of the Beyond who are running around stealing Sith artifacts, maybe other dark side artifacts. We just don't know right now. The Knights of Ren, all of that Snoke represents, could be another faction of dark side users. And so right now, you can't really make the claim that they're based on Mandalorian culture at all. Okay, next point. Boba survived the Sarlacc pit. I said this earlier. We don't know if Boba survived the Sarlacc pit. What we know is that his armor got out because maybe some Jawas came and scavenged everything that the Sarlacc monster had in it, that it puked up or came, getting splattered all over the desert of Tatooine, right? So we don't know that he actually survived. We just know that someone got his armor out. All right, so you said Boba Fett knew that Luke Skywalker was Vader's son. Again, this is not true. You're reading more into that scene. In that comic book scene, Boba Fett tells Darth Vader that the person who destroyed the Death Star was Luke Skywalker. In order for him to say, it's your son, Luke Skywalker, he would have to know that Vader is Anakin Skywalker, and we don't know that Boba Fett knew the identity of Darth Vader. What we know is that Boba Fett knows that this kid, Luke Skywalker, is the person who destroyed the Death Star, and he lost a fight to him. So those are my thoughts on Boba Fett being Supreme Leader Snoke, right? I just don't think it's possible at all. Sorry. But I'd like to hear your thoughts. So let me know your thoughts on this fan speculation down below. Do you buy it? Did you ever think that Supreme Leader Snoke might be Boba Fett? So yeah, let me know your thoughts, and I'll be looking to see what you guys have to say. If you haven't subscribed already, go ahead and click on that subscribe button so that you can take your first steps towards becoming an urban acolyte. This is September, and I'm going to be rolling out these Star Wars Rebels reviews because, hey, September 24th, Season 3 begins, and if I don't have Season 1 and 2 reviews completed, well, then I'll just be pulling double duty and reviewing all 3 seasons at the same time. But hopefully you guys will enjoy taking a look back on Seasons 1 and 2. I'm probably going to do a video on the top 10 moments from Season 2, so look for that in the next couple of days, along with a couple of other commentaries on fan theories or speculations that are out there. Anyway, that's all I've got for this video. Thanks for watching. Y'all keep on breathing, and may the Force be with you always.